ABC has suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. This comes after remarks made by Jimmy Kimmel about Charlie Kirk's killing.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
I mean, that was it. What did he say there? Do we need to watch that again? I kind of do.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
First, they are scoring political points. Why? Because he was one of theirs. He was a conservative, and he led Turning Point USA. Now, I have nothing against Charlie Kirk. I think it was horrendous what happened. It's completely unfair to him, his family. He's no longer here. A mother does not have a son. A wife does not have a husband. And his children are fatherless now. For what? Because you didn't agree with his opinion? That's not how it works in civil society. But the issue at hand is, are we pandering to our government? Is that the state that we want to be in? This is FCC Chairman Brendan Carr.
The administration in power was typically the subject of most of his jokes, as seems to be the case now. I mean, these are comedians we're talking about. This is not the news.
Well, look, I can tell you Jimmy Kimmel is no Johnny Carson, and the issue that arose here where lots and lots of people were upset was not a joke. It was not, making fun or pillaring me or the administration or the president. It was appearing to directly mislead the American public about a significant fact of probably one of the most significant political events we've had in a long time, probably the most significant political assassination we've seen in a long time.
What exactly did he say that was offensive here? I don't think there's a person that can objectively say that he was insulting Charlie Kirk, his family, or even MAGA. He said that they were taking advantage of this situation. And that's always been the case, no matter what side of the aisle you look to. Both Democrats and Republicans are always going to pounce on a news story when it benefits them. That's precisely how politics works.
I mean, it's interesting. Some people have pulled some of your old posts, Chair Carr, including this one from 2019. Should the government censor speech it doesn't like? Of course not. The FCC does not have a roving mandate to police speech in the name of the, quote, public interest. How do you square what you're saying with those old posts? And is there pressure now, for example, for Comcast to drop Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers the way the president suggested?
Well, two things. I mean, very, very consistent when it comes to the internet. We want, wide open, robust, debate, and there's no public interest standard there. There's no licensing obligation there. But again, broadcast TV is simply different. Particularly during COVID, we saw this massive surge in censorship on the internet by Facebook, by previous owners of Twitter, and I pushed back very strongly there. But again, broadcast is different. They've got a license and they're free to go on the internet and do whatever they want. But if they want to keep access to those valuable airwaves, I've been clear, we're reinvigorating the FCC's enforcement of public interest. And it's a good thing. I mean, look, trust in the media is at an all-time low. It used to be more trusted than Congress, at least they could say, but now they've fallen beneath Congress. I think, gas station sushi probably polls better in terms of trust.
But the consumer is not foolish. We know that everything we see on television is there to manipulate us and is there to sell our views. They want our attention, so in turn they can sell advertising. No one's fooled by that. To say that network television is essentially a public entity and therefore should have unbiased views is preposterous, because everyone has bias. They maintain some level of it. So now we have to ask ourselves, do we want to see the US media churn into something like Russia, where every outlet bends to the will of the government? The danger in that is pretty apparent, because then what happens when our leaders are wrong? What happens when our leaders are malevolent, like those in Israel, or even here in the US, where support for Israel overrides accountability? If dissent is silenced, how do we push back? And if we can't simply ridicule our own government for the policies that they push which we disagree with, then how can we say that we have freedom of speech? What I find baffling is that this administration in particular speaks out about the mockery, but mocks others themselves. There are countless examples of Trump ridiculing his political opponents with no regard. So then when someone like Jimmy Kimmel speaks out against atrocities, whether we agree with them or not, it's still one of the most noblest things that you can do. Charlie Kirk spoke up for what he believed in. He was persecuted for it. Jimmy Kimmel is doing the same, yet he's being censored by our government. And if the response from our leaders is to silence dissent, then they are creating the vacuum that they want us to live in. Let me know your thoughts.